everyone to our episode 8 Drops of Wisdom. In today's short episode, we are going to discuss the book The Power of Meaning by Emily Esfahani. We are going to start reflecting about this topic with one question that is extremely important. What is the meaning of your life? I know that is a challenging question and it's a very broad question, but we have to figure out what are we doing in this planet and how are we doing it. Every single relationship we have happened for a reason and is there for us to help us figure out also the meaning of our lives. It had a perfect timing in our lives even though it doesn't look that way when you are in it. The best way to grow, expand, and reflect about your life and about your wounds, your walls, and your breakthroughs is by relating with other people. Start caring more for the ones around you and find their meaning in your life. Those are the reflections that we can start doing about the people that is crossing, and I'm not just speaking about the intimate relationships or the loved ones or family, but about any other person that crosses in your path. They have a reason to be in your space, and many times they have a purpose in your life. The main quote that I want to discuss is, by focusing on your relationships with others, you can begin to make your life even more meaningful. The relationships that are formed when you smile to a stranger are vital to fostering wider sense of belonging with society or in society. So it is extremely important, this sense of belonging, and we as human beings are always looking for that. In order to start the journey toward living a more meaningful life, you should maintain these four pillars that are going to help you to create a much more meaningful life. Number one is belonging. This pillar is extremely important, and we, of course, we have it since we are born. Since we are born, we want to feel that we belong to someone, that we belong to certain nucleus of human beings. The next one is purpose, and this has been demonstrated in Search of Meaning by Viktor Frankl. In these Holocaust concentration camps, he demonstrated that the people that survived had a meaning and purpose for their lives, and that's what made them more resilient and resistant to withstand all the suffering that they were through. The next pillar in this meaning of life is storytelling, and the last one is transcendence. So if we are paying attention to these four pillars, we can make our lives a lot more meaningful than just going through the motions and just responding to the chaotic events that we might see in every other platform. In order to start your journey and to reflect about this, we have seen that Greeks and many other people, from Aristotle to Baumeister, have been argued that the meaning arises from the sense of belonging and having a purpose related to contributing to something larger. So it's having an expansion of your purpose, making sense of the world and your experiences and connecting with something greater than yourself. So detaching of the selfish feeling of just worrying or caring about your life, and start trying to relate more to what you are doing and how what you are doing is impacting other people. In 1945, the psychoanalyst René Spitz found that mortality rates in orphanage are unusually high. Ironically, children were often deprived of human contact in order to prevent the spread of germs and diseases. So, what they found out was that chronic illnesses can compromise the immune system. Chronic loneliness and isolation of these children make their immune system depressed. Can you relate that to what is happening right now? That we have already 2 years of measures that are constantly priming your mind towards isolating and creating fear? Well, that's the number one cause to depress your human system, and that can lead to premature death also. Back in 1985, a number of Americans were asked to recall the number of people with whom they had deep conversations in the previous 6 months, to which the majority answered that they had just 3 persons with whom they can share a deeper conversation. In 2004, this survey or this study was repeated, and now the answer from 3 dropped to 0. So, what we can assume from this, and we can see by the facts, is that people in general are losing the power of attention. And we can just demonstrate that with the person that connects to certain information that is important, and they just have a span of attention of 30 seconds, 1 minute. In the best case scenarios, we have 3 minutes of attention, and that's it. People are no longer able to sustain their attention more time, even though they find interesting information. So this calls our attention to start uh, focusing more in what we really care and not in the distractions, because all of these um, millions of distractions that we have during our days are trying to depress our attention. By focusing on your relationships with others, we can begin to make our lives more meaningful. Even when we have a trivial interaction with someone in the street, they might need the look of you in their eyes. And sadly, as we are still using in many parts of the world the face mask, we cannot see the smile. But if in your home or in your place there are no such stringent measures, you can relate more with people when you smile with them. So this makes us feel that we belong to a wider sense of humanity. A survey involving 2 million participants found that those who considered their jobs meaningful were involved in careers such as teachers, radiation therapists, school administrators, and other roles that involve serving to others. So the more we attach meaning to the expansion of what we are doing, the easier we can relate with them, and we can relate what we do towards helping other people. Switching your focus to how your work affects or impacts other people can give you more purpose and thus make your life more meaningful. The psychologist Dan McAdam has been studying the concept of life stories and the meaning for over 30 years. He believes that a person narrative's identity. So your story is creating your identity. The story you create about yourself is constructed by focusing on the most significant events that have taken place in your life and interpreting them in numerous ways. We have seen that, we have talked about this, because the story that you are telling yourself over and over again is creating those limiting beliefs or those expansion beliefs. So the more you reflect about your life and the more you relate that to the people that are in your social circle will make you see how are you vibrating. And for that, we are going to have a further episode because there is a lot to talk about that. Thank you very much for being here, for paying attention. If you like this short episode and it resonates with you, please help me to share it with other people, and we'll see each other next Wednesday. Have a beautiful afternoon and middle of the week. Thank you. Bye.